Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that anyone that builds a mosque for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him the likes of it in paradise. If you are looking to help build a mosque, look no further than my humble little mosque here in Koh Phangan, Thailand. Currently, we are trying to buy a small amount of land for a few reasons. One being that as it stands, we only have a small amount of parking and it's only enough for a few motorbikes and not even enough for a car. As well, the entrance to get into the mosque is like very, very small. And so we could, by purchasing this land, we could expand those things. And also, inshallah, by purchasing this land, it would allow us to expand the mosque itself and also have room for a small school where children and also men and women can learn about Islam. So the patrons of the mosque already have gathered around half of the money, but we need more, about $45,000 USD. So if you feel called to do so, please, for the sake of Allah, donate any amount, large or small, by using the link in the description down below, and may Allah bless you generously for doing so. Masalama. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is going on, guys? It is Daniel here, and Ramadan Mubarak. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, we're 2 days into Ramadan as I'm recording now. This is my first Ramadan ever. It's going okay. So if you notice, I'm a little bit slow in this video. That's why, but I'm sure as you brothers and sisters are watching this, you're also going through the same thing. So Alhamdulillah, we have a video here today from One Islam Productions. They always have good quality videos. And this is a Scary Signs of DAJJAL's Arrival video. And this is supposedly supposed to be catered for our current times here in 2023. So this should be interesting. Always an interesting topic to learn about, especially given the circumstances of the world currently. So let's get into it.
We Muslims have been told about this man who is called DAJJAL, DAJJAL, by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than any other religion in the entire world. You know, every prophet that came to this world, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, all of the prophets, they all spoke something about the Dajjal. But our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who was the last prophet, he spoke about a Dajjal more in detail than any other prophet that has ever spoken about him. Because he is the last messenger.
That could be true. It could also just be that we have better records than all of the previous prophets. You know, we have a lot of the hadith, and, you know, with the previous prophets, maybe they did talk about Dajjal in great detail, but we don't have the records of this kind of stuff, so we don't know.
And there is no other messenger or prophet after him. And he spoke about him in so much detail because the time for him to arise and walk on earth and do what he's going to do is very close. It is very close. Let's begin by saying what the Dajjal, that word.
I wonder how he knows that it's very close, and what does he mean by very close? That's a relative, subjective term, and he did put some emphasis on it by saying it twice there. But again, this just seems like very close compared to what? I mean, within the span of the entire age of the universe, or, you know what I mean, with lifetime, generations, how close are we talking here?
Means the word Dajjal. What is Dajjal? In English, DAJJAL. I think that's how it is it's going to be on Netflix or whatever. Dajjal is an Arabic word meaning, you know how you have someone who lies? You got a liar, someone who says something that's not true, right? And it's something worse than just lying. It's when you mix truth with false, and you say it and show it in a way that anyone who hears about it or looks at it, they believe it, and it's so hard to disprove it, to say it's not true, because it's mixed with truth and false. So, you know, if I want to make up a story and I made it all a lie, sooner or later you're going to find out that it was just a lie, because there's nothing truth about it, and it's not going to make much sense because it won't make sense. But if I put some truth in it and some names that are true, it's going to be much harder for people to find out that I'm lying about it, because they're going to find out, hold on a minute, he was true about this, then that means he must be true about that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, another good allegory for this is like, if you want to poison somebody, you don't just give them outright poison. You're going to put the poison in a piece of cake or in a cookie or in some kind of food. So poison that's inside of a delicious food is almost more dangerous, you could argue, than poison by itself.
There is a word for it today in the 21st century, and it's called deception. DAJJAL means, the closest word I know of in English is deception. You know, when you watch stuff on Hollywood, any movie, that's what they do a lot of the times. If you have ever listened to music, we all hear music when we go to the shops or wherever we go, music is playing. You know, let's not lie to ourselves. Music is everywhere, isn't it? Isn't it? You go to school, there's music. What can you do? But in the music, there's also words and lyrics, all right, and things that the artists, the musicians, do on stage and say that also is called deception.
I was just talking to my father about this just a few days ago, and you know, this conversation came from me being a musically inclined individual since I was very young. I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old, and I started singing as I got to be a teenager, and I've really kind of given this all up since reverting to Islam. And I was talking to my dad about this because he's always supported me throughout my musical journey. You know, he bought me instruments and listened to me play, took me to guitar lessons when I was 9 years old, you know what I mean? And, you know, I was talking to him about music and how it's so dangerous, and how I don't feel saddened in any way by giving it up. It feels like a weight off my shoulders. And I was explaining to him this, how it's so deceptive what they do with music. It like, music is actually, it's sculpting. So if you make a sculpture like a statue, what you're doing is you're sculpting space. And when you make music, you're actually sculpting time through the medium of sound. And the reason that you sculpt time through the medium of sound, through music, is to make people feel emotions. And so that leads you to logically deduce that all music ultimately only leads to emotions. And what good is an emotion? I mean, emotion, we can't live, you know, we have emotions for a reason, but why do we need to focus on it so much, and why do we have this medium that's so popular in the world that is ultimately just a tool to steer people around emotionally? And then you look at like what music is most popular nowadays, and the messages in the music, and I know we've all heard this a million times, and I sometimes get sick of hearing people say this, but it's really true. You look at what was the most popular song, I think it was this year or late last year. The most popular song recently, or at least one of them, was that song by Sam Smith called Unholy. Literally the title of the song is Unholy. And why could that possibly be a good thing to focus on? Unholy things. Why would that be a good thing to focus on? It's not. And then when you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's totally disgusting. It's about a man going out at night and basically engaging in fornication and destroying his family. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. It's degenerate. And yet that was the most pushed song with the most. And what's crazy about it is I, being a musician, can appreciate the technicality of this song and the sounds that they use and the melody. It's a well-constructed song, and that it's like that for a reason. I mean, all it takes to construct a song in a good way is money. All you got to do is pay people. There's people that know how to do it. It's their job. They've got it down almost to a science. So all you got to do is you got to pump money into this, and then you got to get this influential artist to sing these degenerate lyrics on top of it, and there you go. You have this tool that you can steer the zeitgeist of culture with. It's crazy when you really think about it. It's really nuts what they're doing with the radio and the music, but people don't think about it. They think, oh, I just like the song. I just like how it makes me feel. But the lyrics that are going into their subconscious are oftentimes completely disgusting and degenerate. So this, I think, has to do with this deception and the Antichrist, DAJJAL.
So what do? They show you things and sing things that sound nice, which makes it easier for you to believe because you get moved, right? You start moving to the beats. Isn't that correct? And everybody else listens to it. And then you think, man, I'm going to be left out. I better listen to this stuff. I better watch it. Yeah? And you think it's cool. And it sounds nice, you know, because it's the shaitan's voice. So it sounds nice. It really moves you. And what happens in there is that they take the opportunity to make you believe things that you're not supposed to believe. Now, I know we're in the masjid, I don't like giving these examples, but I see a lot of young people, and what I think is that we shouldn't hide talking about things that young people now see and hear. I'm a teacher, and I talk to my students all the time. And I see some of the, like my parents and their generation, there's things they just won't talk about. But what I see is that we have to talk about them because the young people are already there. You guys are already seeing stuff that we think, oh, my kids don't see it, they don't hear it, I better not talk about it, it's called taboo. No. I think we have to talk about it. We have to address it. And I'm not one of those people who's going to hide from it. I always talk and I'm blunt with it because I believe that this is what we need. And I've seen a lot of brothers who've got children, they don't talk to their children about things that you're supposed to talk about that's happening in this world, right? And the next minute when their children go lost, the parents come to me and say, please help my children. And I say, well, we should have talked about this, before. And we've got to talk about these things.
He brings up a good point here. I think you have to kind of strike some kind of balance. And I'm not a parent, but inshallah, I will be one day. I'd like to be. And, you have to have some kind of modesty and shame even talking about this kind of stuff with your kids. It's not like something that you want to be like super open about and like how to say, like, you can take this to an extreme, and you're seeing this kind of in schools where they're talking to kids about like sex toys and stuff at school, in grade school. It's crazy. It's unnecessary. But if you're bringing it up to your kid in the context of making it known to them that you don't approve of certain things, I think that's good and that's important. And wherever that child ends up being led, they still have that memory that their mother or their father told them that that's not a good thing. And whether or not they listen is ultimately up to them. But yeah, it's probably a good idea to talk to kids about this kind of stuff because, yeah, like you mentioned, we're just being exposed to things that our parents and our grandparents were never exposed to at a younger, and this generation currently, the kids now even younger. I remember when I was 12, 13 years old, all my buddies were showing each other just the most crazy, disgusting stuff on our little PlayStation portables and stuff. But now kids have like smartphones and iPads and stuff, and TikTok, and So they're being exposed even younger nowadays.
So that's why I'm bringing up music and I'm bringing up these Hollywood movies and all that stuff. So in the music industry, I won't say names of musicians, but for example, there was this musician and the likes of her and him a lot. She stood up on stage, and then what she did was she kissed another musician, another woman. She's a woman, and kissed another woman on her lips on stage.
And everyone
Right?
goes, "Woo!"
And that was only a few years back. And everybody goes, what? This is disgusting. This shouldn't be done. But what she said was, she goes, we musicians, we have a role to play. I'm sick and tired. This is what she said. I want you to listen carefully. I'm sick and tired of people following rules and order. Following rules and order. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to go out of these rules and orders and do what they want to do. So I'm going to promote this relationship of woman with woman.
Yeah, and for somebody that's lost, or for a younger person that's more easily influenced, that sounds really nice. Actually, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Just do what you want. Don't follow the rules. Like, the rules are just social constructs that random people made up. So it could sound nice and it could sound like a good message, but it's actually rotten inside. We all need rules, we all need laws, but the rules and the laws need to be the ones from God. They need to be good ones that lead you to things that are good, not bad ones that lead you to things that are bad. So people kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, oh, well, just screw all the rules and just do what you want. Well, you can do that, but it leads to destruction, leads to a mess.
Right? And as time went on, it became normal. Isn't that correct? Normal. There's lots of things now that if you went 15 years back, they were so abnormal. Am I right? Now, they're normal. I told you I'm a teacher. Students now, Muslims is wearing the hijab, the brother goes and prays, everything. But they have boyfriends and girlfriends. And they think, what's the big deal? It's normal. Do you know friends like that? Boyfriend, girlfriend, they say it's normal. I got my little brother, okay, when I used to pick him up, when it was a long time ago, I'm talking...
What's that quote about being well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society is not a good sign?
25 years ago, I used to pick him up from kindergarten. Do you have kindergarten here? Kindergarten? It's the school you go to before you go to prep. Do you have prep? Sure, some kindergarten here in the UK. Nursery. Okay, nursery, good. So he was only 4 years old. He used to go to the nursery. And I used to go and pick him up on my bike. I used to dink him, put him on the... Do you have that word, dink? I'm from Australia, guys, so correct me. I'm trying to say... So I used to put him on the bike and take him home. So one day I pick him up, it's only...
And Aussies have the weirdest lingo. Dink? I've never heard that in my life. Dink him. I used to dink him.
4 years old. And he says to me, wait. Where are you going? He goes, I'm looking for Jessica. I go, who's Jessica? He goes, gets Jessica, she comes up to him and he hugs her and carries her up. But the way he carried her was not normal. And he kissed her right on the lips. Said to him, I smacked him on the head and said, come over here, what's wrong with you? You don't go kiss a girl like that. And he said to me, she's my girlfriend. I said, well, do you know what girlfriend means? He goes, yeah, like today the teacher got us and all the students, they sat there and then they said, okay, today we're going to make each boy have a girlfriend. So your girlfriend to my brother is Jessica and your girlfriend is so-and-so. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say that there are things long time ago were not normal. And then somehow people say things, and in the minds of young people as you grow up, you start to believe that they're actually very, very normal. Did you know that? In Norway, there's an article that I read that there are people protesting. They're going to the government to say if they can marry their pets. Wallahi. And there are other people in Texas, in America and other places, they are saying to legalize something called pedophilia with children.
Yep.
And there are others who are saying we want to.
Yeah, that's something I've been talking about for a while. I remember telling my mom about this a few years ago. I could just kind of see it. Like, that's just kind of where things are heading. You know, I first heard this term of, you don't call someone a pedophile, you call them a, I don't even know what it is. It's like a minor attracted individual or something like that. It's this total nonsense. It's disgusting. Like, yeah.
Legalize incest. Brothers and sisters marrying each other.
Again, it all comes back to getting rid of the rules and just doing what you want. And as long as, you know, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, it's okay. But the problem with that is that we don't know what hurts us and what doesn't. We don't always know that. It's not always evident. It's not always evident. You can say that, you know, lying on a test that doesn't hurt anyone, or lying to your wife, lying to your husband doesn't hurt them, but it does eventually. It's not evident. It's not evident at first, but it does hurt you to tell a lie, and it could easily hurt them in the long term once they find out that what you said was a lie.
Brothers, do you know what I'm trying to tell you here? I'm trying to talk to you about the Dajjal. But before I talk about the Dajjal, did you know that things are going to happen before the Dajjal comes? You see, deception, which is to mix truth with lies and make people believe it and make it so hard to disbelieve it. That doesn't happen overnight. Listen to this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ first. Let me just share with you this hadith. 1,400 years ago, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the Dajjal, from the time of Adam alayhi salam, till the end of time, from the time of Adam till the end of time, this entire world, he said, there is no bigger trial, fitna, than the trial of Dajjal.
Oh, there we go. Is that it? It's like 2 minutes left.
Slam TV app.
Cool. It's an ad. Oh, that was a good video. That was a good video. I think that they brought up some good points, and yeah, interesting topics they brought up. I think that was Bulao Assad. He's always good. I always like listening to him. May Allah bless him generously. He was one of the first Muslim speakers that really hit home for me. He really connected with me. I remember before I reverted, I listened to a few lectures of his, and I found them to be very deep, profound, and useful, and he helped me to understand in a clear manner what is Islam really about. So yeah, again, may Allah bless him generously, and may Allah bless all of you brothers and sisters generously for watching. I hope that your Ramadan is going well, and I got nothing else to say, brothers and sisters, so inshallah we will see you in the next one. Masalama.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that anyone that builds a mosque for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him the likes of it in paradise. If you are looking to help build a mosque, look no further than my humble little mosque here in Koh Phangan, Thailand. Currently, we are trying to buy a small amount of land for a few reasons. One being that, as it stands, we only have a small amount of parking, and it's only enough for a few motorbikes and not even enough for a car. As well, the entrance to get into the mosque is like very, very small, and so we could, by purchasing this land, we could expand those things, and also, inshallah, by purchasing this land, it would allow us to expand the mosque itself and also have room for a small school where children and also men and women can learn about Islam. So the patrons of the mosque already have gathered around half of the money, but we need more, about $45,000 USD. So if you feel called to do so, please, for the sake of Allah, donate any amount, large or small, by using the link in the description down below, and may Allah bless you generously for doing so. Masalama.